Traveling from Accra to Kumasi is a nightmare.
All right.
This is a publication in the BNFT of today.
Okay.
You find it on page 2. It's a news desk report. And it says the Accra Kumasi Highway, a strategic economic corridor linking the nation's two most economically significant cities, is drawing renewed concern as deteriorating road conditions compromise commuter safety, disrupt economic activity, and pose potential health crisis for the country. Now, despite its status as the country's most traveled roadway, sections of the highway remain in despair, characterized by incomplete construction works, large potholes, and uneven surfaces. Now, as a result, the route has become a choke point for both commuters and freight transporters. There's a quote here that says the stretch from Amasamam area through to Nsawam in the eastern region is terrible. Some parts have been graded, but others remain untouched. The potholes, some so deep, they resemble manholes, force drivers to swerve repeatedly, increasing the risk of accidents. They are quoting Felix Oseikufo, a licensed optician and regular user of the route. He was speaking to the BNFT. Now, while the remainder of the highway from Nsawam Junction through Suhum, Chebi, or is it Kibi Junction?
It's Chebi.
Okay.
Chebi.
Chebi, they're rich in the Chibi, Kibi, yeah, the whites. And Osino is reportedly in good condition. Isolated sections under active construction, including a stretch from Osino, where a bridge is being built, continue to hamper seamless travel. Now, these bottlenecks reflect a broader concern that infrastructure improvements along this vital route remain uneven. Now, commuters say economic implications of the deteriorated segments are far-reaching. The Accra-Kumasi road serves not only as a key travel route, but also a major channel for moving goods and services between the country's southern and northern zones. Agricultural produce from the Ashanti and eastern regions, manufactured goods from Accra and Tema, and commercial freight all depend on the road's efficiency. There's a quote here that says that the people in charge don't experience what we go through, said Akosia Mensima, a trader and longtime resident of Osino. They glide over the worst parts of the road in their air-conditioned V8s, escorted like royalty. That's a move. Now, meanwhile, the rest of us sit in traffic for hours, dodging potholes that could swallow a wheel. Now, if they had to ride in a trotro or taxi like we do, this road would have been fixed long ago, unquote.
Right.
Now, according to reports to transport union representatives, delays caused by the poor road conditions result in increased fuel consumption, higher vehicle maintenance costs, and reduced productivity.
Wow.
It goes on to talk about some other things. Do you want me to go there too?
What I want to ask listeners is, when was the last time you went by road from Kumasi to Accra or Accra to Kumasi, and how long did it take you? I want you to share your experience with me. We drove from Accra to Suhum. It was a pretty fast journey, but we spent almost 45 minutes on a very bad patch between Pokwasi and Nsawam, which is because the road was being done. But I'm told that now what used to take 3 to 4 hours to get to Kumasi, even if you get there in 5 hours, you are lucky. But I'm not sure. So what I'm asking listeners is, when was the last time you did Accra-Kumasi route, and how long did it take you? In the meantime, here's a report that Philip Nilate put together on Accra-Kumasi road.
The Minister of Roads and Highways, Governor Kwame Agboja, on April 5, 2025, embarked on a tour on the Ofankor to Nsawam road to check the level of work. Mr. Agboja wasn't so much enthused about what has been done on the Ofankor to Nsawam project after receiving several complaints from road users about the deplorable nature of the road. Work on the road stalled as a result of some illegal issues and financial problems. The minister noted that contractors, that is Maripoma Enterprise Limited, should immediately resume work. It looks like work has started on the project. The over $340 million project, which began on July 20, 2022, was initially scheduled for completion by July 20, 2024. However, the contractors have been unable to meet the expected completion date due to key challenges encountered during the course of the project. Once completed, The 33.4 kilometer rehabilitation project will feature major infrastructure components, including a railway bridge, pedestrian underpasses, footbridges, an interchange at Amasaman, and flyovers at Pobiman and Ajin Kotoku. Although construction is ongoing, motorists continue to face difficulties due to the poor condition of the road. The stretch becomes extremely dusty during the dry season. However, at the time of filing this report, it had turned muddy as a result of recent rains. Many drivers are forced to visit car washing bays immediately after traveling along the Ofankor to Nsawam Junction Road. In some cases, if unlucky, a trip to the mechanic becomes necessary after navigating the rough terrain.
So far, I'm going to say delay mine because the cars na SSN every I just saw 1 month tobacco shop where I was always snap pine any more breed. We maintenance and but also Janet Sadia within 2-3 months in the cars no be but at least 1 month need maybe as always in any market to go. Yes. I used a week and I said 2 weeks the shop maintenance. Road in the delay we almost stop here in 2 weeks and almost a bus.
And my seconds. When you intend to my because we in terms of job, you have to tell my union. Ama, according to some money, Bokwame. Says as I know. Come to be who sana. So pass all the driver and Yanet. If I answer a bus and go by, you say we are on a bus. And some Ofankor road. Today I drove from Achimota to Amasaman, and I realized that from Kumasi to Amasaman, the road is too bad. So the contractor should do something about it. It's very, very, very bad. It's almost unmotorable. I think the contractor should come on the road and fix it for us. Today I fell into a very deep gutter. I thought it was just something shallow, but when I entered in, I realized that it's very deep. So if it's something that I use every day, then I'll be in a big trouble. Meaning always I must buy, I'll be buying spare parts almost every week.
Work has fully resumed on the Ofankor to Nsawam Junction Road. Joining me is the resident engineer on the project, Engineer Thomas David Arthur.
So the contractor came back to site on the 6th of April. Yes, and as you can see, he's active at most of the fronts on the stretch of the road. Yeah. So, earthworks is going on at some sections beyond kilometer 9. Yes, and then sub-base works, cement stabilized, where works are also going on. You can see the contractor also working on some of the footbridges that were in the state of partial completion. Yeah, so he's trying to finish them. It is coming back. We are very soon going to see a better improvement on the road.
The Member of Parliament for Amasaman, Sedem Apenyo, says the resumption of work on the stretch is a step in the right direction.
For some few months ago, we were not too happy about the condition of the road. But after speaking to the road minister, he visited the construction site. He encouraged the contractors to come back on road. And for about 2 weeks now, I can see the contractor is back on road. And work has started. So what I see is that they've tried to reshape the road a little. They do the dust suppression, so we don't see much dust as we used to see. So let me say for some time now, let's say for the past 2 weeks, we've seen much improvement.
Resident engineer on the project, Engineer Thomas Arthur, has urged motorists to remain patient, assuring them that contractors are working hard to make the road motorable and to complete the project as soon as possible.
We will still plead with our road users, yes, to exercise restraint, yes, and be tolerant, yeah. But very soon, all those bus sessions, that's the area the contractor is going to tackle now. So they will be enjoying better riding conditions on the road.
So right now the contractor has resumed fully?
Yes, he has resumed fully. You can see in our yard, the vehicles which were previously parked are no longer here. They are all on the ground, very busy and active. The contractor has shown some commitment. Yes, he has managed to resource the works. So something serious is now going on the road.
Driving on the Ofankor to Nsawam Junction Road is a daunting task. Work on the road had halted for some time, but the contractors have now resumed operations. They are hopeful that a substantial portion of the work will soon be completed. Meanwhile, they are appealing to road users to exercise patience. Reporting for ChannelOne News, I am Philip Latte.
3 minutes to 9. This is the City Breakfast Show's Friday edition, and we are responding to consumer or listener concerns. Started off the power sector. I know a lot of you are complaining about the power situation, and some of you are even insisting that there's doomsday going on. We will get clarity on that for you. Next issue is the road sector, and my question this morning is: how long does it take you to drive from Accra to Kumasi, particularly for people like Samens who don't like short haul flights? So if you have a funeral in Kumasi, and Kumasi traditionally has been 3.5 to 4 hours. Now I'm told that it is, even if you do 5 hours, you are lucky. That now Kumasi is even 6 hours, sometimes 7. Now we are using the Ofankor in Nsawam Road as the connection, but I'm sure there are other issues as well. So maybe we can deal with the Pokwasi Road, which we used on Monday. Quite a difficult road to use. Very annoying as well. And the thing that even annoyed me the most, Sky, you have this huge road they are doing. Then they leave like a huge middle part. They just cordon it off and leave it there. And they leave 2 lanes for those going and 2 lanes for those coming. And you ask yourself, what's the point in doing this? I'm sure the engineers have a reason for doing it, but it's quite tough. Now, send me a comment on how the drive from Accra to Kumasi and back, or Kumasi to Accra, has been. How many hours did you spend? 054 998 6996. When was the last time you drove to Kumasi?
It's been a while. Last year.
So this year you haven't?
This year I haven't been to Kumasi.
How was the drive last year?
It wasn't that good. And we keep getting surprises on this road. Now, when you are approaching Konongo, you should be ready for some 30 minutes traffic inside Konongo and Odumase.
Because you go through the Konongo town.
Yes. It didn't used to be the case. You have Konongo traffic, and then when you're getting to Ejusu, you have the traffic.
I have a question for you.
That, so.
In Nsawam used to be like that too, until they did a bypass.
Yeah.
As a leader, you have to balance free ease of traffic and also economic activity. Some people think that when you do these bypasses, the towns lose business.
Well, that's a fact.
So which one? How do you balance that?
Well, it's a decision. I mean, it's not only Nsawam that has suffered this. Chebi has also suffered this.
When they did
people forget that many years ago, the STC from Kumasi to Accra, the stop were 2 places. One, Enyinem, when you are going to Accra, and then Chebi. Okay, so Chebi, when you are going to Kumasi or Accra, Chebi had the STC mandated stop where they stop for people to get down and eat. And then Enyinem too had one. I forget the name of the restaurant. And now we have had to bypass Chebi because of construction.
It has affected the vibrancy of the place.
It will.
It was a big issue.
It will. It's in Nsawam wouldn't be as hit because you see the distance, the channeling of the traffic is not too far from Nsawam. So as you can see, people have moved. The bread sellers have
come
moved to the other side. Okay.
And Nsawam is
And now
growing
they've
so
even
fast.
added trophy to the
Nsawam-
thing, so-
and the other is Nsawam is growing so fast. So this is a very interesting point.
Yeah.
So you're saying that Konongo traffic can delay you for half an hour,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
which means that the sensible thing to do is to do a bypass.
Well, the bypass is a financial decision. I mean, it wasn't that let's do a bypass. I think the reconstruction, they look at the there's a word they use in the operations, you know. So they look at the distances and the parts that will give them the best route, and then the funding are conditioned on these parts.
Let me push you. Can you not do a dual where you say like Kasua, you do a flyover through the center of Kasua, and yet the people who still want to go to Kasua. So Kasua is no longer a bottleneck.
But that's what Katwa has done.
That's what I'm saying. But
Yeah.
can't they do that for Konongo?
Oh,
So you go
think-
through the town.
I
and
think it can be done.
Yeah,
It can
that's the
be
best
done.
solution.
It can be done. It can be done. I mean, it is a money issue, as I keep saying. You know, diverting is taking livelihoods away from the community, which means that then they will have to move to where the traffic is. Okay, but what we fail to realize is that it's only a matter of time. The congestion will move to the same place. Look at Kaswa. We did a beautiful flyover. Where did we end up taking the traffic? To Budubiram.
No, Budubiram, yes.
Budubiram. Now we are pushing the traffic. Now when you are going, there's traffic getting to Winneba.
Winneba Junction. So Winneba, what are they doing at Winneba roundabout?
They're rebuilding.
So will they do a flyover?
I think it's one of the.
Speak up, I can't hear you.
It's one of the things discussed.
So when they do Winneba, then where will the traffic go?
Well, you
Mankesim.
see, no, you see, if you keep doing these things without slip roads, you are just deferring the traffic.
So the slip roads are the ones that allow those who are going to the town to actually do what they have to do. Then those who are traveling will go over.
Precisely. And if you don't do the internal roads, even in the various towns along the main highways, you are just compounding the problems.
So back to Accra Kumasi. On your way, you had about 30 minutes in Konongo. So that was the main bottleneck, apart from the rough road in the Pokwasi side.
Yeah.
So it means you didn't spend more than 5 hours then.
The last time I went to Kumasi, no, I mean, the 5 hours, 6 hours thing is normally public transport. Okay, because they stop and all these things.
Okay.
But generally, it will take you between 5 and 6 hours.
Let's look at Nkoko too. You know, in the past, as well, when you are going to Kumasi,
Same
you
thing.
pass through Nkoko, but now they've done a bypass. But Nkoko is fairly okay. It's still a vibrant
you
town.
see, Nkoko is a major center, major Kwewu center. So all those up the mountain
Have to
Nkoko is
converge
their
there
base.
before they go.
So they have
The traffic
fairly
already.
considerably high active economic environment. The Accra Kumasi traffic would only add to it. Okay, and so Nkoko wouldn't have been as deprived as the other towns.
I get your point.
Okay, Konongo, I don't even know what they can do with it. I don't know what the plan is.
Yeah.
But as things stand now, the roads are under pressure.
Seriously.
The roads are under pressure. You have all sorts of vehicles using the road. All sorts. Now
There's
the
no
vehicles
distinction.
going into the Sahelian region, they all use.
And their tracks looks funny.
Yeah, their trucks generally
a bit wider.
are wider.
Yeah.
Generally are wider.
Be able to move a lot more goods.
Yes.
Yeah.
To the northern part of
And it's affecting our roads.
Seriously?
Go to Tema. The last time I was in Tema,
Yeah.
I was weeping for the country.
Why?
This is the port city, the biggest port city we have. It's a major entry point. It's moving a lot of goods from that city to the northern part of the country, and then also to other parts of the country, and then to Mali and all these.
Yeah.
Other. Bernard, the roads in Tema, particularly the port from the port.
Yeah, the harbor.
Exactly, to the runabout that connects you to,
Yeah.
Michelle Camp,
Yeah.
Accra,
It's
and
bad,
then what do you call it, Asherman. Horrifying.
Yes, from
I
the
know
port.
they are doing some work towards the Shaman runabout, but
Yeah.
Bernard, it's
so bad,
annoying that this possibility. I mean, is it that we are not charging the people for using?
When you get to the Valco roundabout, there's even one road that takes you to Bone. Charlie, the road is so bad, eh?
No.
Temapao.
Yes.
It's terrible. So let's do Accra Kumasi. Comments, Sky, help me.
Okay, so this one says, "Good morning, Bernard.
Yes.
I spent almost 7 hours from Accra to Kumasi.
Were you
and
driving?
5 hours from Kumasi to Accra. I use VIP in and out. It's
That's the point
quick
I'm making.
So they are
Do you know how
slow
much
on
it
the
costs?
road, isn't it?
Do you know how much it costs to pay a VIP ticket to Kumasi? Somebody should tell me. I want to compare that to
Around
flying.
150 thereabout.
Like 150. And when you fly it, will how much?
Oh, flying,
when you
it
fly
depends.
there,
It
so
depends.
it's,
It's between 1,500 and 2,000 now.
What my concern is, whilst we discuss roads, we should also see it as an advantage to develop our air travel.
Train, bro.
Train.
Air travel?
Train.
Yeah.
For what? What air travel not do anything
Train,
to us?
bro.
If you are going to
Air
a funeral in
travel
Kumasi, you can
will
go by
not-
air.
It will not tackle the problem. I'm
How
telling
many
you.
people will be
You think the
only thing that
price will not
change-
come down?
The only thing that will change the equation is rail transport.
You are sure of this?
As I'm telling you.
If we bring 3
and
more
I'll
airlines
repeat it,
into the domestic
it won't
space,
change anything.
don't bring prices down.
It is just for the comfort of a few rich people.
So
It's
it's not
only
mass. Air cannot be mass transport.
How can it be mass? How can it be mass? Why do you think that our rail networks terminated in our markets?
Because that's where the people go to.
Precisely. In Kumasi, when we're doing sleeper, you know sleeper, the train that you sleep, where you go in the night and by morning you are in Accra, you will go and board the train near Kumasi job.
So rail is the solution to this, not air.
Air is no solution to anything.
Oh, you sure?
Oh, I'm telling you.
It's people who can afford it who will use it.
I thought that
said
if you increase competition, the price will come down and more people can fly.
Bernard,
Yes.
rail network solves many problems.
So the road traffic, the road deterioration, cargo, food, timber carting, minerals.
Is the missing link for our Greek transportation in agriculture? Is
So
the missing link.
even agriculture.
Yes. You look. What if we had rail transport from here all the way to Bolgatanga? Would we then need those huge trucks to travel all the way from Burkina and come and destroy our roads? And where we don't have tolls,
so
we
you
don't
put-
even pay tolls
So
here.
you put the thing from Tema to Bolga, then they can continue with their thing.
Cut it
That's
from
why.
there and
That
use
is
their
why they tried the Impakadan network. That will take you to the Volta Lake.
Then so the plan was put it on a Volta and
Yes, and then the Volta Lake transportation will now take it up north, and then
go. Stay with that point. So your idea is that, let's assume you have goods coming into Ghana that you are sending to Niger. Put it on a rail from Tema to Mpakadan, which is in the Akwemu area. Put it on the
Volta Lake,
and then send it to where? Buipe or where?
wherever. I mean, wherever you know.
Then from there you continue.
Exactly.
So the water transport was the problem. I was speaking to some engineer who was telling me that the tree stumps, again catch 22. The tree stumps can affect water transport. But if you cut them, the tree stumps also, apparently the fish, they need and I may be wrong here.
They feed on the
They
roots,
feed
yeah.
on the roots. So if those who fish on the Volta, they want you to keep the tree stumps because this is how the fish grow.
Yeah, but you see.
So if you
let's learn.
if you cut, if you remove the tree stumps to enhance water transport, you are also affecting somebody's fishing industry.
Bernard, we
That's
will
my
not be the only country that would have to deal with tree stumps. You don't weed off every plant organism in the water. That's not how you do it. You determine the pathway for transportation and then you clear it. That's how it's done. That's how it's done everywhere. You don't go and say that, Charlie, everything that looks like a tree we are coming to. How do you survive? No. So it's a scientific thing.
Let me push you on this. I remember in the 90s, I listened to the radio. Those days, there used to be a lot of Volta Lake disasters. And then Rollins kept talking about we have to remove the tree stumps.
Yeah,
and I
launched
think
a
they did
campaign
some
on it.
feasibility on that. But I haven't heard that in the past 20 years a lot. Is it that economically removing tree stumps is not viable? Is it that the cost of doing it versus or is there a question of integrating the water transport into why has that conversation
Why
died?
should that be our problem? Why should that be a government problem? Government is supposed to create the enabling environment. There are companies out there who want to venture into this business.
The real water transport.
Yes, there are companies that want to venture into this business. But everybody wants some kind of cut, someone money.
That's the problem.
That's installed. Volta Lake Transport started this way. At some point, Volta Lake Transport was seeded off VRA. I don't know whether it's
Yes,
back
so
now.
they are like, I don't know, it's a
I don't know whether
subsidiary
it's
or
back
something.
now.
Yeah.
There was a white guy who was
running
managing
it,
at
yes,
some point.
yes.
You know, the thing back and forth. But it's clear, if we don't learn how to integrate rail transport in our transportation mix, we will take loans and take loans and take loans and build roads
to never solve the problem.
Never achieve our objective.
So your point is there's no point. You can't build more roads to solve a transportation problem.
No country has done that. The whole world, not one country has done this.
So you need integration.
Integrated
and
approach.
For you is rail and then water and rail.
Yes.
In addition to the road.
Precisely.
I'll take some comments on that. I just wanted to ask one final question. If and for listeners who travel to the north and up, if there was a vessel that was taking you up north via rail water, would you take it? He's saying that it's more for cargo, it's more for food, because he believes that once you diversify the traffic on the road, let human beings sit in cars on road, put timber and put food on the rail and the water, so that the heavy duty usage of our roads, which destroys the road, will stop. Because the water will not complain that the goods are too heavy, neither will the rail complain, and by that too you save money in road maintenance. So it's not even for human transportation. So hold that thought, Sky. I just want to read a few comments for me while we discuss the issue of why building more roads is not the solution to transportation. Oh my God. 054-998-6996. Some of this has to do with Accra Kumasi Road, but we're also discussing integrated transportation, Sky.
Okay, so let me take you to more comments that are coming in. This one says, good morning, Bernard. VIP to Kumasi is 120 Ghana cedis. You must be ready to spend 6 hours.
Oh Lord.
And 30 minutes on the road. First with VIP it was 5 hours, but now it's 6 hours 30 minutes. This was Bernard. Please tell Uncle Sam that Accra Kumasi round trip now costs you about 3,000 Ghana.
That's air transfer.
Which is why you are saying that
That's 1,500
in and out.
So
so
the round trip is. So
yeah, but that depends on when you buy the ticket. If you are traveling today, you go and buy the ticket. There's no way you get 1,500.
It'll be more than
So
that.
it's more expensive.
No, for you have to plan.
Air is not the solution.
That's right. You need to plan ahead of time.
So let's stay with the comments then.
This one says, Bernard, how many of us Ghanaians can afford flight fares, even if it's 500 Ghana cedis?
We are just asking.
As a man said, it won't even tickle the situation.
Oh Lord.
Ampo Fua is laughing.
Ampo Fua.
Ampo Fua. Okay. Ampo Fua. This one says, express train from Accra to Kumasi must be considered. Train is a solution to mass transportation problems.
Train is a solution
Yes.
to mass transportation problems.
This one said, Bernard, I went to Kumasi last month. We left Accra at 10 p.m. And we got to Kumasi at 6 a.m.
Oh how?
What? I regretted it.
Oh
How
how?
is that?
Even in the night too.
At least you got there. But we are joking with things in this country.
10 p.m. pa, you got there at 6 a.m.
Lagos, our sister country, has built a working
Expressway.
I'm telling you, let's not even be too ambitious.
Really?
By talking about express rail, let's not go there. We want normal rail.
I think they have Abuja to Kaduna now.
The reason we don't need express rail, it won't solve our problem.
We need mass movement of people.
Because the person that boarded the train in Accra is only stopping first in Amasaman.
Yeah, but sometimes
you understand. So I'm just saying that I'm talking about the economic.
But let's stay with that point. Have you noticed that now, because of the way the Achimota Amasaman corridor has grown, if you outside the rail, there'll be a lot of stops. There'll be a lot of
That's
stops.
Why I'm saying that the solution would be at this point line express.
Because
rail.
imagine those complaining about
working.
Stay with that. So somebody living at Amasaman, Sapeman, midyear, and he closes from work in Circle. He jumps on a train. He doesn't need to go through that crazy traffic. It's a straight drive.
The rail network will solve plenty problems, including accommodation problems. Why try getting a chamber in a hall in Accra? It's 1,500 to 2,000 cedis a month.
Which part of Accra is outside Accra? Then they all use some.
So if rail would have made it easier to live outside, but sometimes why
I can get a house in Nsawam for 500 cedis a month.
Why? Okay, let me push this point. It looks to me as if the politicians don't want to do rail because it's long term to do and they may not get the credit. So for example, usually, if let's assume you are in power today, John Mahama is in power. Let's assume he starts a rail thing today. from the way it works, he probably finished by 2028.
Bernard,
I'm just saying.
it's modular. It's modular.
So you do small.
Yes. So you and they have the blueprint. They have the overall rail transport network proposal there. It's sitting. I've seen it before. So you create modules and say that the first one is let's say Accra, Nkoko, and let's finish Accra and Nkoko
through Nsawam.
Now, yes, such that the first phase of the first module of Accra and Nkoko, we know where it's going to serve. It's going to serve all the major cocoa areas in the eastern region.
So that also helps your transportation. So that also means then that when you are bringing in the cocoa to Tema, they can bring it by rail and then.
So either you do this or you put a consortium together. Okay. This is Ghana. This is the blueprint. This is what we want to achieve. There's a company from Greece. There's a company from Angola. There's a company from Turkey. 4 or 5 companies. Take different parts of it and let's start work.
And the government can generate demand by saying we'll ensure that. But of course, that means somebody's business may be affected. As Ofosu said, every solution creates a new problem. So, for example, once you bring the rail, there are companies who have invested in trucks for cocoa. So they may feel like their business is going to die.
No, Bernard, they can still have business.
You still think so?
But they can still, because they still do cutting from the point of delivery at the destination to the final
so
point.
It's a question of thinking. We are not thinking.
We can deceive ourselves. Look, not too long ago, maybe a lot of you were young. Our only overhead, we used to call it overhead bridge.
Circle.
The circle thing that we see there was the only flyover.
When you get there, you're in Accra.
You understand? Yeah. I remember when Gaddafi came to Ghana.
Yes.
We followed him. Small boys were chasing the man.
And when you got to circle,
we all to circle overhead. We are overhead. Today, what is overhead? What's a flyover?
Charlie.
By now, we should know that it won't solve our problems. Go to Tanzania. Go and see what is going on in Tanzania. Look, Ghana and Rio, Bernard.
You mean that even in Africa, you mentioned Nigeria. I've seen the Kaduna to, I think, Abuja one.
Yes.
Tanzania has also, I don't know if Kenya has done rail.
Kenya has rail.
Kenya has rail.
Ethiopia.
Has Cote d'Ivoire gotten rail?
I don't know.
Please check for me, listeners.
Senegal
has rail?
Yes, Senegal has. And these are recent additions.
So why we know if you do?
Because we don't want to.
But okay, they say we've done Accra to this one. Yeah. Is it working?
I don't know whether it has solved our problem. It has to be an ambitious plan. Look, Lagos to Ibadan.
Yeah.
It was the most difficult one for any government to think about.
Why?
Because the congestion in Lagos is real. It's real congestion.
And Ibadan to the plenty.
Talk about Ibadan. Before, when we travel from Lagos to Ibadan, it took, I think, 2 hours or so.
Was it before the expressway came?
No, the expressway came in the 70s. So Julius Berger.
Yes,
Julius Berger contractors did the expressway.
Correct.
The expressway, and I'm talking about where the expressway came fresh. It was 2 hours or so to get to Ibadan. If you want to go to Ilorin, it will take you 3-4 hours. You understand?
So this is Western Corridor you are talking now.
It got to a time people started taking off the materials. You know,
on the road.
The materials on the road, the metal bars and things. People were stealing the things.
Yeah.
You understand? And then the potholes started. Then the traffic started. Then the churches started moving out of Lagos
into
the Ibadan the outskirts.
So congestion.
And Nigerian churches are huge churches.
Yeah.
So Sunday when you are traveling out of Lagos, you can't because these are 50,000 member churches with their cars. Traffic chaka.
So what did they do?
Now that the thing is working.
They have a rail.
Yes.
So Lagos, Ibadan have a rail.
Yeah, they have it. But Ghana alone, we can't do real. Meanwhile, we are touting agric. Agric without transportation is concert party.
Charlie, let's take a break there. I like that. I like how I've energized you. I love it. Agric without transportation is concert party. Because even if the food is cheaply produced, transport will raise the price.
Yep.
Lack of transport will make the food get destroyed. Agric without transport is concert party. We are back on the road matter. This is the City Breakfast. It's a Friday edition. I'm here with Sam and Richie Sky. We've just drunk 1 cup of tea and we are hyper like this. And I just want to emphasize that this is really, it may sound like a litany of complaints, but it's actually suggestions we are giving the government to emphasize railway in a more deliberate way. Because of the way we say it may seem as if we are just laughing and stuff, but it's actually basically saying building roads is great, but if the government does not diversify our transportation modes,
multimodal,
we will just be scratching the surface. And the point we are making is that railway and water transport are very important additions, and particularly because we have a new government who are in their nascent stage. This is the best time to do it because, usually the first year is when the government sets out its priorities. So we are strongly urging the government to consider a rail from Accra to Kumasi, at least to make sure it's functioning. In addition to the Accra Mpakadan one, Tema Mpakadan one that was done, we're also urging the government to strongly get people into the Volta Lake transport as a means of reducing the pressure on our roads when it comes to carting of goods. So I don't want you to see this as just a litany of complaints. There's actually a lot of suggestions coming through that the government should be bold to explore water transport and rail transport. Now, we are not absolving the road minister and saying that he shouldn't focus on roads. He needs to do the roads, right? So don't misunderstand the point that Samen is making, that roads don't solve. He's not saying leave the Accra Kumasi road the way it is. He's saying that do the road, but if you really want to, because by the way, what's the purpose of a road? It's movement. We are moving human beings and goods. So if you want to enhance economic efficiency in agriculture and trade, you cannot have trade without infrastructure. So please don't misunderstand the point. He's not saying that the Minister of Roads should not invest in roads. There's already a 21 billion CD debt he has to find money to pay in terms of finished projects. Another 105 billion CDs he has to find money in terms of commitments. Now, some priority must be given to other modes of transport, which is the point that we are making on the program. And I really don't want people to go home misunderstanding the thrust of the submission so far. It's very, very important that I summarize this guy. Read a few comments for me, and then we will move on with the discussion.
Okay, so this one says, greetings, Papa and the team. Please, we should go back to the railway system. It is the only way to fix our problems. Coming in from a citizen who says he's concerned. Good morning, Bernard. The last time I used the Accra Kumasi road was in February of this year. We set off around 10:30 a.m. and we got to Kumasi around 4 p.m. That's even on 2M Express. The cost was 120 Ghana cedis. It's coming in from Wofa J in Akweteman. This one from Kweku says, Bernard, if rail existed, rent would even come down as the cost of rent. Now, I will live in Cape Coast and come to Accra to work every working day. This one from Ebenezer in Accra says, Bernard, last month I went for a workshop in Kumasi with STC or on STC after Linda door. The car... The what?
The car drunk more than 50 gallons of water.
That's where I was wondering. The car drunk more than 50 gallons of water. Finally, the STC broke down, and we had to resort to Trotro to Kumasi, which cost more money. It's coming in from Ebenezer.
The STC car couldn't cope with the Kumasi road.
Gideon in Belgium says, good morning, Bernard.
Morning.
The problem is that most politicians have VIP buses and trucks. So the rail system will ruin their businesses. I live in Belgium. Sometimes I park my car and I take the train and I get to my destination. It works. This one says, I've always wished we had a railway system like in Moscow. So for instance, in Moscow, as a great city of the world, they have the muscles to construct better roads. Still, they use their subways, and that works for them. China can construct the roads and take over the ticketing for at least 20 years. Basically, he's proposing a build, operate, and transfer. Yeah.
For real.
For real. This one says, Samens is absolutely right. Our leaders should listen to him. Ghana is not going anywhere with Okay, so basically, she believes
without
that,
rail transport.
Yeah, so you want to say without rail transport. That's what you want to say. Robert Antieku is sending that in from the UK. And this one says, good morning, Bernard.
Morning.
There is a rail line from Abidjan to Ouagadougou.
Okay.
It's been there for the past 30 years. It's coming in from Razak in Paga. And this one says,
so Abidjan to Ouagadougou?
Yeah.
And it works?
Yeah.
So why isn't there one from Accra to Ouagadougou?
Because we don't want it.
Oh, Charlie.
We don't want it. Oh. We want to go and do Metro Mass. Then somebody will be given the contract. Then the thing come. Then 1 year is not working again. Then somebody else will come and me too. I want to go to India and bring my own. We say concert party. They say pam pam.
Continue.
Good morning, Bernard. I entreat you to watch this documentary titled "The Men Who Built America."
Okay.
You see clearly that America was built by rail. Rail would automatically open up thousands of opportunities and save our roads. We just need to add serious rail patrol. Jeremy sending that in from Adentan.
Okay.
And this one says that trains are the key. Each length of train can have carriages for both commercial and human transportation. It is even a great tool for tourism. Dear City CBS, an Indian co-worker told me Ghana is doing what the Indian government did for years. Built more roads and but never solved the traffic congestion problem. He was amazed. We don't even use our vast water resources, including the sea, for commercial passenger and cargo transport. It's coming in from me in airport. And this one is a long one from David in Adentan. Says, dear Bernard and team, I'm pleased to hear that you use the Ofankor Nsawam road, even though it's currently under construction. The dust is indeed quite unpleasant, but it's good to see that progress is being made on that road. I believe measures will be taken to make the road more motorable and to dampen it to mitigate the dust issue. Additionally, the road from Media to Papase, passing through Ajinkotoku, is in a horrible condition. This area is home to several important facilities, including the Onion Market, Accra Composite Site, the vaccine manufacturing plant, and the petroleum industry, amongst others. It's concerning that the road is nearly impassable.
Oh, Charlie.
More comments coming in. This one from Wisdom in Osu says, good morning, Bernard.
Morning.
And the team. I did a trip from Osu to Ejisu for a wedding last week, Saturday. The road is in a very, very, very bad state. I ended up busting my tire and I got my rim damaged. It took me 5 hours, 15 minutes to get to my destination. And this one from Joso, Sheikh from Joso, says, Bernard and crew, traveling from Kumasi to Accra is a hellish situation and it's not romantic anymore. Sometimes it's like you are traveling outside the country. The authorities and engineers should speed up the construction of the road so that we can live a normal life. This one from Eric.
This from Jaso.
All right. Let me read a few here. Good morning, Bernard and team. Senegal has rails and their trains are superb with varying classes just like airlines, economy, seat, business, etc. And they are still building more. Senegal is doing quite well. You can stay in Dakar without using cars. Taxi drivers and even those selling by the roadside accept Momo for their services via Orange Money or Wave. A good model to learn from. This is coming from my friend KGB. Razak's text you read already. Another one says, Bernard, infrastructure is what opens up economic zones. No matter the resources available in a particular area, it's useless without infrastructure. Kenya has a very functional rail service where you can travel luxury comparable to flying business class. Senegal has a similar efficient model. This is Maurice Kwanzaa sending this message in. Let me go to Facebook. Here are some comments. Jamez Abir says, Bernard, the Accra Kumasi Highway is anything but that. Most portions of the road are very, very bad. Konongo, Enyenem, and Osino traffic takes you 2 hours of total travel time. Nana Osei Kweku Enoch says most of the roads are damaged and it's risky. It affects absorbers and tires. I have blasted my 2 tires on this Kumasi Accra road in a month. Kudos to you. Goy Lolonyo says Konongo traffic is very bad. I was so upset when I traveled to Kumasi recently. When I used to live at Konongo more than 20 years, it wasn't like that. More comments. David Obeng from Adenta. If you have trains and they move say 100 kilometers per hour, Why go waste time at the airport? Check the time spent at the airport. Rail is the best means of transport. Samuel Kobina Edu, Bernard, there's a company called the Volta Lake Transport Company Limited, which carts fuel and goods from Akosombo to Buipe. The company is also able to transport 5 million liters in per voyage and 48,000 bags of cement at a go. The issue is with policy. So this water thing is true. Seth Addo also believes that rail is the solution. 3,000 away fans filled stadia during Premier League matches. Without trains, this can't be possible.
They just disperse like that. You within 5, 10,
Yes.
20 minutes.
And you notice that
the
trains pass through the stadium or close to the stadium because they've used it to do more comments. Mr. Noy says, Bernard, I think there's a bypass of Konongo under construction a little after the cement factory close to Bomford Junction from Kumasi. And this is from Mr. Ben Noy.
I want to read this one for you quickly. It says, Vodela, just take a trip to visit La Côte d'Ivoire, where my office is, and you will witness a practical infrastructural development, including workable road networks. Few years back, we, the Ghanaians, thought our country was much developed than La Côte d'Ivoire and other bordering nations. Okay. Unfortunately, we are behind in the area of infrastructural development on the West Coast currently. We sincerely need to sit up.
So a listener said that his friend did a master's thesis titled A Future of Metro Services, Enhancing Ghana's Metro Road Through Integrated Transportation. And he says, Ben, it will shock you to read about the findings and the architectural proposals. After graduation, his work is just sitting on his laptop. The question is, when will we start engaging these projects to solve these problems? Luckily,
no, that's Kasim.
Yes,
Khalifa.
Good.
So it's one of our boys actually.
So I got it from Alfred. So
he's a mate of Grant.
Okay, so Kasim did a rec for his thesis on a future of metro services. I'm going to ask him to share some highlights of his work with us to enrich the discussion. Kasim, this one, they have called you off duty to come and talk on air. Thanks for joining us. Good morning.
Hello, good morning. Thanks for having me.
When did you do this project, and what is the title of the work you did?
I did this project 2023, and the title is Future for Metro Services in Ghana. Enhancing Ghana's metro rail through integrated transportation. And then, because the background is architecture, it's an architectural thesis, we are looking more into architectural solutions to in order to enhance the metro system. And then looking at this, the major thing is looking at it through integrated transportation. So that is what the thesis is about.
So this is for KNUST Architecture, I believe.
KNUST Master's Thesis.
Master's Thesis, College of Arts and Built Environment. So what do you mean by integrated transportation?
So looking at the rail system, it looks to be an ideal individual system in Ghana. So integrated transportation is looking at putting rail, road, and the other existing modes of transportation in Ghana together.
I see. So what was your major finding in terms of the viability of rail as a metro transport option?
Okay. So the main finding is the infrastructure upgrade. You need to upgrade the infrastructure by putting up major stations which incorporate all these modes of transportation. We are talking about buses, we are talking about the rail system itself, we are talking about all these Uber, everything into one station. This, if you do this way, we are looking at when you bring your car, you park, you travel rail, you go to Kumasi or wherever you are going to, you come back, take your car, go home. It makes everything faster. It makes the urban mobility in Ghana very effective in such a way that railway is a major transportation factor. It's a major system in urban cities. Without railway system, transportation doesn't work. And then the research tells you that all effective cities, all major cities in the world have incorporated the railway in it. You look at Nigeria, they are doing a good work. You look at other African countries, Morocco, and worldwide, railway is very, very crucial in the transportation sector.
Last point. So very, very interesting. So you notice when you travel to Western countries and you come through the airport immigration, you would notice that all the options of transportation are available. So you see the tube, you will see rail, you will see buses, you will see taxis and Ubers, and then private cars. When you come to Kotoka, you will basically see people waiting with their private cars and a few taxis. And I suspect that your work is saying that it's possible within one space to have all those transportation systems available and working together, and you can design a space to contain all without it causing a bottleneck. I believe this is what your work is trying to show.
That is exactly what my work is about. So that is what the thesis is about. I looked at how we can put all this together, and then I proposed a facility that has all these components together. So the thesis looks like putting all. I have buses, taxis, bicycles, even trotro, and the railway together as one component.
Send it to me. I would love to read it, and hopefully we can have a chat about it again. So thank you very much. So that was a master's graduate from the KNUST, Kasim Khalifa Mohammed, who has put together very interesting work, a future of metro services.
I have it. I'll send it to you.
Wonderful. Yeah. And integrated. I think as you were speaking, I thought about that. So when you travel to most advanced countries, and you know what's funny about Ghana? I went to pick a friend from the airport last week. All of us are waiting there in our private cars to put the person in to go home. A few people take taxis. When you go to many advanced countries, you don't need that level of people.
It's actually punitive. It's actually punitive for you to take your own car there. You are paying premium to take your own car into the airport.
When I was in the UK, when I'm going to the airport, I join a bus. At some point, I join a train. And sometimes the train takes me straight to the airport. I come off the train. And there are times when, in fact, someday I almost got lost. I was coming to your place. We took a bus straight from the airport. So it's doable. My point though comes back to the bottlenecks. I think there are two, if not three. I think money is an issue in terms of the pressure. For example, the road minister was telling reporters last 2 weeks that he needs 105 billion to pay people commitments. Then there's also the question of the length of time it takes to do the rail. We already addressed that in terms of the modal. But the money is a big issue. Because rail costs a lot.
The money is not the issue.
Okay.
It's our priorities that is the issue.
Can you explain?
Wrong priorities, that is the issue. As we sit here now, we have committed 105 billion cedis in contracts
for roads.
Okay.
Mostly previous administration.
Yeah, I'm saying we as a country, we've committed.
Of course.
Out of that, 21 billion is owed physically.
They finished their work.
You mentioned billions like it's good.
It's billion, yeah.
Billion cedis.
So 105. So 105 billion in commitments, 21 billion in
that we owed in actual fact.
Correct.
So what I'm saying is that if we had our priorities based on our situation, we wouldn't have given only road contracts worth 105 billion.
Do we know how much the Accra and Pakadam cost? It would have been good to compare.
Bernard, it's not every project. It's not every project that you need to go and take a loan.
Okay.
There are some that you need a grant. There are some that you need relationships. There are some that private people are prepared to build
and then manage
it. And then, so I'm just saying, it's a
yeah.
combination of several. But if we believe that in order for us to move to the next stage of our development, rail transport is a key factor. That's what I'm saying, that if you had 100 billion cedis, definitely you are going to use part of that one to commit to railway development. And I'm saying again that, look, the Greek ministry is looking good. The minister is upbeat about everything.
energized.
If transportation fails,
it will fail him.
That's the end
Because
of it.
let me put it this way. I think you are right. You know, usually when you interview people who run agric and they talk about their agric interventions, one way of measuring if they are successful is not just the production but the cost of food.
Yeah.
Usually, the cost of food doesn't really come down because there's a missing link between production, storage, transportation, and end of market. So because transportation costs are so high, the food price inevitably gets higher. So I think the point Sam is making that if this minister is focusing on this grow food feed Ghana thing, and the connected ministries don't make it easy for the food to get to market, there will still be food price hikes. And that will be a very unfortunate situation because the poor farmer may not even benefit from the increased production.
We are doing production. Look, everything they are talking about is about production, increasing production.
Yeah.
Which one is solving the perishability problem?
So that will be the storage and then the value addition.
We have never found a way to solve this thing, except quick transportation. Quick transportation. You understand? I did a quick survey in Agbogbosi market last week. Sky. The Agbogbosi market has tomatoes, has onions.
As fresh vegetables beyond tomatoes.
I spoke to maybe 20 to 30
market women.
Of the 30 market women who were selling tomatoes and onions differently, only one was sourcing her tomatoes from Ghana.
Are you serious? When was this?
Only this Saturday, Saturday, yeah, this past weekend. Only one
out of the 30.
I'm telling you,
was sourcing.
They all
tomatoes
bring
from Ghana.
the onions from Niger. They all bring the tomatoes from Burkina. Okay, now guess what is happening? There are new community states of Sahelian states thing. They have started blocking ECOWAS exports.
Serious?
Yes. They have curtailed all ECOWAS programs in these countries.
So who is going to eat their tomatoes for them? Because we have a big market.
No. They will start among themselves. What I'm saying is that
should be careful,
now that they are blocking, if we
us.
don't look sharp, not that it can, it will affect us because they are going to place tariffs on buying stuff from them. That's what it means. If you want to send things there, you are going to pay dearly, as is happening between Tanzania, Malawi, and South Africa today. So everybody is looking for their own.
There's a current trade war between those countries.
Yes, there is major trade war between Tanzania, Malawi, and South Africa.
On which products?
On agric products. South African grapes going to Tanzania has been blocked. Tanzania is not even taking plantains from Malawi anymore. They won't allow you. So I'm just saying that everybody, because people have woken up to the realities of the voting system in democracy, that at the end of the day, the people who vote for you are the ones who matter.
So once farmers are affected by imports, the government has to.
Yes, but if you go to a market like Agbogbosi and every tomato you see there is coming from Burkina Faso, what have we done about our agric? Not because we can't grow tomatoes, but because we have not paid attention to it.